listenaminute.com. Rice. Rice is a very important food around the world, and I love it. Rice is one thing I seem to be able to eat lots of. It doesn't matter if there's a mountain of rice on my plate. I can eat it all. Billions of people eat rice every day. Billions of people probably eat rice 3 times a day. I could eat rice 3 times a day, but I don't. I'm not sure if I could eat rice for breakfast. That's because I'm English. Lunch and dinner are different. I can eat lots of rice then. The good thing about rice is that if you go to an Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Thai or Mexican restaurant, there's rice on the menu, and it all tastes so different. Indian basmati rice with curry is awesome. Japanese rice in sushi is heaven, and Thai rice is unbeatable.
Hello guys, how are you doing? And welcome back to another lesson. Today we have unit 29 and only 3 lessons are left from the student book. So today we will cover 2 topics. The first topic is for the guys, for the boys, okay, and the second topic is for the ladies. What do I mean by this is we usually, let's say we as boys love to talk about sport events, love to talk about basketball, football and other sport activities. But ladies, they don't usually like talking about sports, football and everything. So how do they tend to change the topic? How they try to change the topic? This is today's lesson. So that's why I said the first topic is for the boys and the second topic is only for the ladies. When the boys talk about football and sport events, how the girls and ladies can change the topic. Okay, so this is today's topic. Let's take a look at the title of today's lesson. It is, did you see the game? Or did you see the game? But if you want to sound like a native, then you can say, did you? Okay, because D is linked with you. So did you see the game? So did you see the game between Real Madrid and Barcelona? Did you see the game between Real Madrid and Barcelona last night? Did you see the game between Real Madrid and Barcelona last night when Barcelona could beat Real Madrid 2-0? 2-0. So 0 in sport or football is nil. Okay, 2-0 means 2-0. Did you see the game where Cristiano Ronaldo scored a hat-trick? Hat-trick is 3 goals in a single game. 3 goals in a single game is called hat-trick, okay, or hat-trick. This is it. This is today's topic, okay? And then when we talk about, let's say, sporting events, then how they can change the topic? Well, they might say, well, you know, today I was really tired, so I decided to take tomorrow off. This is how they change the topic. You talk about something, but they don't like it, so they will try to talk about another topic in order to make you forget the topic. So let's take a look at the vocabulary section. We have an article. It is I think it's 2 or 3 sport news. Okay, so we have to fill the blanks. We have close or close, ejected, blowout, overtime, quarter or quarter, referee, shot, halftime, outscored, tied. Okay, so the day in sports by Caroli. By the way, you can do this exercise and then you can check your answer later with me. This is the Kurdish translation of it, okay, if you couldn't understand the English or if you had trouble while reading the English version. So the day in sports by Caroli. Caroli is a journalist. Last night's basketball game between Boston Celtics and Los Angeles Lakers was a thriller. Thriller, it means it was full of enjoyable moments. You were sad for a period of time, then you became happy for the rest of the time. So between becoming sad and becoming happy, this is called thriller because it's enjoyable. With 10 seconds left in the game, the score was tied. The leakers attempted a shot, okay, at the basket but missed it. Okay, they attempted a shot at the basket but missed it. In the game they went into what? Into, you can say, overtime. Okay, and the Celtics won, so they outscored the Lakers and won the ball game. This was the first news. Now let's move to the second news. Okay, the game between the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat last night wasn't nearly as close. Okay, they weren't as close. What does that mean is this game was really good. It was a thriller. This team is gonna win it. No, this team is gonna win it. The results are really close, but this game, no, it's not like that. It's just like a normal game. The winner is clear. We all know who's gonna win the game. During the first quarter, Miami's best player was from the game for arguing with, so was ejected with a red card. Ejected, out. He was out from the game for arguing with the referee. At what? The score was close. At ejected referee. At halftime, the score was close, but the Knicks ended up getting a what? A blowout win. A blowout win, it means winning a game with a big and great result. So close is also done. Shot and halftime also out. We had a blowout also done. So with a win final score of 121 to 98. This was the second news, and the third news is here. In World Cup news, Brazil defeated Germany with just one goal scored in. Okay, this is it. Now let's take a look at part B. Would you what kind of game this one, would you rather watch your favorite team win in a blowout or a close game? Wow, we talked about blowout. Okay, blowout is winning with a great result, or close, the results are really near each other. Okay, they are close, they're almost like each other. So would you rather watch your favorite team win in a blowout or a close game? For example, you're a fan of Barcelona or you're a fan of Real Madrid. How would you like your favorite team would win the game? How would you like it? Then I would say, well, a close game, because they are so much more exciting. How about you? Well, listen, I want to change the topic. Then I say, well, tomorrow I have a really difficult exam, so I have to go and study for it. Are you going to help me? You see, I don't like the topic, so that's how I'm going to change the topic. Okay, I will talk about another topic to end your topic and start mine. So let's take a look at the conversation section, part A, and hear it out the audio track.
Lesson 29. Did you see the game? Page 72. Conversation. A. Listen. What kind of game is Robert talking about? What is Tristan talking about?
Did you see the match?
The match? What match?
The World Cup? The biggest soccer tournament in the world? Brazil was incredible.
Oh, that's great. So, do you know what kind of car that is?
Not sure. So, yeah, it was a really close match. At the end of the second half, the score was tied, so the match went into overtime. Then Brazil had this penalty kick, and...
Did they? Speaking of overtime, did I mention how much I've been working lately?
So, Tristan, he always wanted to change the topic, and Robert wanted to talk about football all the time. Okay, so now it's time to improve our listening skills, and so we have Part C, it says listen. Again, we have 3 extra sentences. We will hear the audio track together and we will write down the 3 extra sentences that we will hear during the conversation.
Page 72. Conversation. C. Listen. Write the 3 extra sentences you hear in the conversation. Practice the new conversation.
Did you see the match?
The match? What match?
The World Cup? The biggest soccer tournament in the world? Brazil was incredible. It was a close game. It was a close game. Soccer tournament in the world? Brazil was incredible. It was a close game.
It was a close game. It was a close game.
That's great. So, do you know what kind of car that is? I really like it. I really like it. That is, I really like it.
I really like it.
Not sure. So, yeah, it was a really close match. At the end of the second half, the score was tied, so the match went into overtime. Then Brazil had this penalty kick, and...
Did they? Speaking of overtime, did I mention how much I've been working lately? I've been working so much. I've been working so much. I've been working so much.
I've been working so much. I've been working so much. So this is the language booster section where we can talk about a topic, a sport topic, or any topic, and then how we can change the topic as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the blue column here. We have the first one is, did you see the game? We talked about this one. Okay, so did you see the game? It was really interesting. The first half was a tie for both sides. Real Madrid played well. Okay, then my friend doesn't like the topic. He tries to change the topic. So he would say, so yeah, talking. So he's gonna say, so yeah, talking about interesting topics. Well, there is a new movie out. Why not go into the cinema and watch it together? He's talking about football and you want to talk about cinema. You can see it, right? Okay, next. Who were you rooting for? Okay, who are you supporting? Rooting for means supporting. Who are you supporting? You are a fan of which team? You are a fan of which team? Are you supporting Real Madrid? Are you rooting for Real Madrid? Are you a fan of Real Madrid? You can use 3 different sentences for it. Okay, it was a blowout. Okay, it was a great result. Okay, it was like 5-0. It was like 6-1. These are called a blowout in football, of course. It went into overtime. We usually have 19 minutes, which is divided into 45 minutes for the first half and 45 minutes for the second half. During the World Cup, let's say, and after the grouping stage, in semifinals, in quarterfinals, or in the final, if the result is a draw or a tie, if the result is tied, then they would play for another 30 minutes. So they will play for extra 30 minutes in case they were tied, like 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, or 0-0. This is called tied result. So they would play for another 30 minutes. If they couldn't change the result stayed as a tied, then they will move to the another stage, which is called penalty. Okay, which is called penalty stage. It was incredible. It was really great. It was amazing. It was nice. Okay, so if you want to change the topic, speaking of overtime, I've been working so much. So anyway, then start changing the topic. And that reminds me, then start changing the topic. Let's take a look at part B and see how these guys will change the topic. Take turns starting a conversation about the sporting event and changing the subject. Did you see the game last night? It was incredible. Oh, speaking of games, do you want to come over and play my new video game? So when you say come over, you invite someone to your house. Why don't you come over to my house? Means why don't you pay a visit to me at my house? Okay, come over means come to my house. Okay, this is it so far. And so let's talk about another topic too. So for example, you're telling your friend, you know, last semester at university I failed in 2 subjects, so now I have 2 subjects left. I studied really hard. I still cannot figure it out. Why did I fail in those subjects? And then my friend is gonna say, okay, well, you know, speaking of sad news, speaking of bad news, you know what? I had an accident with my car last night, but I was safe, hopefully. Okay, from bad news to another bad news, but he wants to change the topic, maybe because he doesn't like to talk about university. Okay, so this is how we can talk about the topic, then we can change it as well. So now let's improve our pronunciation skills and in intonation to convey extreme emotions. So basically, when we have a positive happy emotion, then we would raise our voice, and when we have a negative and sad news or bad news, then we would decrease our intonation. Okay, or our intonation with fall. So we have audio track number 35.
Page 73. Pronunciation. A. Listen to the sentences. Notice that the positive emotional statements end in a raised intonation, and negative emotional statements end in lowered intonation. 1,
You should have seen it.
2,
It was incredible.
3,
Their best player was ejected.
4,
My favorite team lost.
Okay, now we have speak with confidence section. It says, have you been to any sport events? Write down any sport events that you've been to or have seen on TV. Write down why it is so memorable. Okay, now let's move to the conversation section and talk about something together. Okay, are you ready? Let's start. Welcome everyone to the conversation section. So let's get into it. Okay, are we ready? So the first question is, why do so many people like sport? Can you tell me? Okay, interesting. So now tell me why some people are not interested in football or sport. Why? Okay, wow, I didn't know that. So which one do you prefer, playing sports or watching sport? Okay, so do you have a good experience or bad experience with sports at school while you were at school playing football, basketball? Which one do you have? Okay, interesting. Okay, so my last question is, do you think star players have the best life? Do you think so? Interesting. That was the end of today's lesson. Peace out until the next lesson.